Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Okay, so I can see that we have just a few persons. So please, for everyone joining, either you're joining via YouTube or Twitch or via LinkedIn, please do well to drop a message on our Discord community so we'll have more persons joining us today. We already have our instructor here with us, engineer. Sorry, I don't know if I got. Yeah, I think I got that right. All right. So she's an edtech project and product manager with over 15 years of experience, and she's going to be taking us on today's class on process and time management. So thank you, engineer, for joining us today. Thank you so much. Yeah. So you can start while others are joining. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ella, for having me. Yes, I'm a senior project manager, and I'm going to talk today about the process and time management in our work. And I'm going to share some tips and tricks and my practices, how I use time management techniques, and how I build the process in my work. So you can have some expression from the practice side. But before that, let me introduce a little bit myself. My name is Evgenia, and I'm a senior project manager at Group Moves. This is the EdTech and learning consultancy company. We are creating e-learning courses, digital learning solutions, and platforms for other companies to educate their clients and employees. I'm based in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and I'm also a founder of LXD Hero. This is the online school for learning experience designers. We are creating workshops and different courses for this target audience, and create a community for people who create and develop learning experiences. And also I'm an author of the Alex Notes, which is a professional blog about product management in EdTech. So my interest in education and in product management is combined in this project. And also I have 10 plus and even 15 plus years of experience in corporate education and e-learning development. I worked for retail, finance, tech, marketing companies. So you can, from that information, you can understand my background a little bit and my perspective, how I consider time management and what projects, what products I usually build in my teams. So going to the topic, today we'll discuss product management as from the skills and differences between a product manager and project manager. It will help us to understand what the difference between approaches, these two approaches, and where actually the time management make their work more efficient. And also we'll discuss product development workflow. I'll share you some communications that are taking place in between PM, which can be project or a product manager, and the client and the team. And also, I'm sure you remember from other classes, two methodologies, Waterfall and Agile. I won't be too specific on this, but just for you to remember these two methodologies. And then we'll discuss time management from three perspectives: estimation, tracking, and reporting. I'll share 8 estimation techniques for you with you, and I'll share some common challenges that every project and product manager face during the product delivery. And also, I will share some time management tools that I use in my daily basis life and in my projects. And also you can use and you can choose from them for your projects. And of course, at the end of our session, we'll have some Q&A time, and you can send questions and I will be happy to answer them. Okay, what is the project? What is the product management from my perspective? And I like this infographic from Gartner that shows that actually product management is between three spheres: business, customer, and technology. It was I guess, an old approach, but now we understand that product management is more like this. It's also a finance, support, sales, marketing, and lots of other skills and other parts of this job. And in our topic, we'll discuss time management, which is mostly about product development. So if you see here the segment of product development, we will focus mostly on this part. And what's the difference between product manager and project manager from our perspective? The main difference is that product manager is more focused on the product development and long-term product success. So they build the product itself and measure the effectiveness of the product and try to sell this product to markets and doing like more general job with the products, while project manager is more focused on the project planning, execution, and completion. It makes this work more related to the process, related to understanding and organizing the team, and understanding how to build, how to deliver the project and final product to the client. So they focus more on not only on the product, but also mostly on the process and on the delivery and on the execution and completion of the product. What else we have here? We have that there are some differences between product life cycle stages. For product manager, there are stages from idea generation to retirement of the product. For project managers, the stages are initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closure. They are related mostly to the project, to this process of delivery, the project or something that they create. And from our topic that we are discussing, time management and process, we see that in product manager reality and in product manager life cycle, we have planning and development stage, which is mostly about the organization and time management. And for a project manager, we have initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and controlling, and they're all connected to time management. They're all related to estimation, tracking, and reporting of the project. So we will mostly focus on this part. So basically, the whole thing that project manager does is actually time management in general. And also, we see that product manager define product metrics and track them, and project manager is responsible for project progress and completion. So there's the difference, and actually we can see that time management is more like a project manager responsibility, this role, rather than product manager. But of course, it's because time management is taking place on the delivery stage, on the stage when the product can be, should be, and have to be created, developed, and delivered to the client. And also a little bit about the workflow. You all see and know, I think, these two methodologies, Waterfall and Agile. So the difference is shortly that for Waterfall, we have stages going by one. And when we're talking about big project, big delivery, we usually use Waterfall method, when we have everything, every requirement defined in the at the beginning of the project, and all estimations done, and all resources defined on the initial stage on the requirements. And then during the delivery, we're going through these stages, and we see how can we track the progress and how can we improve the progress during the delivery. For the Agile workflow and for the Agile methodology, we estimate more frequently, and we track more frequently, and we report every week. We can report even every day if we see the differences between estimation and actual time spent on some task, for example. So it's more iterative process, and more flexible, more adjustable to the external situations and our internal changes. So from this slide, you should understand that when we are talking about time management in program management and in project management, we can implement different time management techniques to a different process. So it depends on our workflow, which estimation techniques and which time management techniques we use for our work, for our team. So first, you should define which methodology you use for the workflow. And also, usually, product manager is the person who is between client and team. So you can see here on the slide different communications that taking place between client and product manager, and between product manager and the team. For example, with the client, we do briefing, we do contract, we estimate, we make quotation for finance estimation. We do planning, we have feedback rounds, if we have some issues, we resolve issues with the client, we communicate regarding these issues. We do risk management, finance management, we send some reports, we create some documentations, and of course, one of the main, I think, from my point of view, task for communication with the client is maintaining relationship. So regardless you have project current work or not, you should maintain this relationship in order to have more warm and friendly relationship with the client, more communication with the client, more close communication with the client. So with the client, we have lots of things to, lots of reasons to communicate. And of course, as we work with the team, it can be design team, development team, it can be marketing team, anybody who is responsible for delivering the project or a product. With the team, we have lots of reasons to communicate. For example, it could be a meetings for the product delivery process. It can be one-to-one meetings. It can be capacity planning and task management. It can be feedback rounds also for product delivery process. And it can be, of course, HR management, hiring, interviewing, firing even sometimes. And it's this kind of communications tasks. And also, of course, it's training and development. So we work with the team, not as sometimes it's not our administrative role to manage the team, this particular team, but as a product managers, we, of course, every day communicate with the team on different reasons and stay in touch every day with them on different reasons and different tasks. So you can see here bold text in these lists. This is something that related to our topic, to time management. So for client, we estimate and make quotes and planning. And I think reporting is also should be bold here. And for team, we communicate about capacity, and we communicate about tasks and track the progress, track the task delivery. So from all the types of communications with the client and the team, we see that some of them are particularly related to this time management, and we will dive into this right away. So for time management, when we are talking about time management in the product delivery, as you might have understood by far, that we are not talking about time management only for our own work, only for how we deal with our tasks and how we estimate our day and what we prioritize to do first during our working day. So we don't only manage time for ourselves as the product manager. We mostly manage time for everybody around us, for the client, for the team. So we are in the middle of this crowd of people who deliver or who working on the project, and or who wants the project to be done. And we are someone who is responsible for this organization of the time management. And from project manager and product manager perspective, time management looks like, I would say, 3 stages, but it's actually the beginning, middle, and the final stage, which is estimation, tracking, and reporting. Estimation is something that we do before we start working on the project or on the specific tasks. Tracking is something that we do during these delivery stages, and how we understand if we have enough time to this task or not. So have we do we have some more time to do this and that? What are our deadlines, and if we meet these deadlines or not? And reporting is, of course, something that we do at the end of the product delivery, of the product development. So let's dive deeper a little bit to these 3 stages, and I'll share my practice, how I approach these stages, and what's important to consider, and what's essential here to estimate and track and report. For estimation, it's important to consider the project scope and workflow, as we discussed before, and deadlines. So it will influence a lot to our estimation, how big the project is, how much time we have for the deadline, and what is the workflow we use for the delivery. Of course, we should consider also and take into account stakeholders' expectations. There are not only our clients themselves, but also some other people that are involved in the project, and some other parties that can be influenced by this project and our product. So their expectations are very useful for the estimation. So, for example, if they want something to be done next week, but you don't have enough resources, or team is not skilled enough for this topic or for this project, it's also important to communicate with the client or with these stakeholders your real estimation. Also, we should consider team capacity, how much time we have of the team hours by week or by day. And we can also estimate of course, we should estimate and consider, not estimate, but consider for estimation team skills and experience. If we have enough skills for this project, do we need somebody else in the team to fill this gap in a skill set? Of course, we should estimate also historical data. It means that when we start doing some project, when we do this from scratch and we don't have any other similar projects in the past, we should find some analogies, we should find some best practices, how much time it would take to build this or that, or to complete this task, or to finalize this task. So we cannot estimate something from the air. We should rely somehow on some statistics or historical data or some similar projects that we had in the past. And of course, we should consider and allocate some buffer time. From my experience, it's always up to 20%. It could be up to 20%, I think, from my experience, but usually up to 10%, I think, in time when I add to our estimation. For example, if the team estimated the project, I don't know, that they can finalize something by the end of this month, I would say the client a week ahead, so we can have time in case of any unexpected situations, or something can happen in the team or outside the team, or it's always a good idea to set some buffer time in the project. And we usually think about, in estimation, we usually think about agreement with the client. It can be is a document of SLA, service level agreement, or it can be also just a email that you telling the client that it could take this time, or we will meet this deadline. So it's also can be an option, like a simplest one. But of course, it could be also a document and signed document SLA that you can sign with the client, and so everybody would understand what the product you are delivering, when, and how much time it would take to deliver parts of this project. So yeah, it's a good practice to have this kind of agreement. And also you can create days, hours, weeks planning. It depends on the scope, it depends on your workflow. It could be a table with tasks, or it could be a some task tracker that you use for the tracking the progress, but you create this after the estimation stage. So you understand what's the deadlines and how much time it would take to finish one part of the work and another and another. So for estimation, it's also important to consider different techniques. There are plenty of them actually for estimation projects. You can see on this slide a few of them. They're the most, I think, popular or common in product management world, I would say. And yeah, they're all mostly is used by teams that if you want to estimate and prioritize the task and understand which tasks or which features or user stories are bigger, to understand the complexity, to understand your certainty about specific tasks and how much time it would take to complete these tasks. And if you have more than, I would say, more than 5 projects or parts of the projects at the same time on the plate, you should definitely consider these techniques to prioritize the tasks and this part of the projects. For example, you can use I like one of my favorite techniques is dot voting. So if you have stickers on the board with all these tasks, and the whole team vote by putting the color-coded sticky notes, as you see in the at the picture below, with these orange sticky notes and votes, and you can easily and as fast as it could be see the prioritization. So you can see which projects or parts or features are most important, or are most valuable, or like easy to deliver, to develop. And you can also see what's the like abandoned stickers here. So, and consider this these stickers separately. Also, I like the a large, uncertain, small technique, which helps to define the size of the projects or parts of the projects. And it also can help you to separate the biggest issues or biggest parts from the smallest, and to understand how much task do you have, and what's the complexity of the whole project, for example. Yeah, so you can use one of these techniques, or you can combine them in your projects. They seems, I think, maybe like a lot, but for sure you can choose one of them and try this out, and maybe next time try another one, or learn more about them, and maybe choose the most favorite, the most suitable for your project and for your team. So I just wanted to show the bunch of great different techniques, so you can choose from, and yeah, maybe use some of them for the next project. Going forward to tracking, there are some good practices that I use for tracking. For example, I advise you to choose time tracker tool with your team, not only to choose the time tracker and force the team to use this tracker with you, but maybe combine or compare these trackers if you need to choose one for the time tracking, and discuss with the team which tool can be more interesting and suitable for the team to use. It's also good for a team atmosphere and mood to do something together. And also, I advise you to categorize time entries. So, for example, when the team track time, they usually, like the person who creates these, not creates, but submit hours to one of the tasks. They can, for example, log hours or minutes they spend to this task, to the project task, but also you can categorize this time to like other activities like learning or research or reporting, or even time non-work related. And it will help you to use these categories to analyze how much time the team takes for the team to actually work on the projects or on the specific tasks, and how much time it takes to learn some specific topics, or how much time they spend to non-work related tasks. And it's also not about controlling, it's about the understanding the capacity and prediction of the next project, how to estimate the more accurate the next project, like similar project. that's why I advise you to categorize time entries. And another thing is you can do is define how often you will track time. For example, you can track daily or weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly. It's not very useful to do it monthly actually, but sometimes it's important to even track at least monthly to understand the actual hours, actual time spent on the project. So define when you track the time with the team, and first you would need a little bit more control on this, to be honest, because not everybody will be happy to track time, to track every hour spent on the project or outside of the project. But of course, it's very important for you to, as a product manager, as a project manager, to help the team to understand the meaning of this activity, so that it's not about control them how they spend working time, but to understand how much time we spend to projects actually, and how much time we have for our learning, and how much time we have from our 14 hours working week, how much time we can actually work focus how much time we can actually focus on the tasks on the project. For example, in one of my teams, we had 40 hour week, but when we track the time, we found out that we actually spend 30 hours per week for projects. Other 10 hours can be spent to anything else, from learning to meetings to just switching between tasks or to have some coffee. It's also important to kind of understand how much time it would take. And next month, we can change our workflow and prioritize tasks, so we can have more time for like allocated time for non-work related activities. And also we can understand that we only have 30 hours per week for a person to work on the projects. So and that's why we won't assign more work to this person, or we won't assign maybe less work, and we can manage those kind of things to understand how we work with the client, how what we promise to the client, and what we can actually deliver in given deadlines. So it's very important to track wisely and to train team and remind to track time, and to track, as I said, project and not work-related tasks. So make the tracking more accurate and more close to reality. So it's important to track something that you actually spend time on, not just submit hours, 8 hours a week or 8 hours a day, for example, for some general tasks. So when you work with the team, it's very important to categorize time entries and help the team track times in specific categories and in specific projects or parts of the projects. So this is about tracking. And some practices about reporting. It's important here to consider clients' expectations, because actually it depends on the client, what type of report they want to see during the delivery or at the end of delivery. So it depends on the client expectations. So it's important to clarify these expectations and at the beginning of the project. And also, I just said you before that it's important not only to control for not only to control, but also for improvements, to have these milestones when you have these reports like monthly, for example. You can analyze the data from the previous month. You can make assumptions. You can have some insights from this data, from this analysis. And you can change something in your workflow. You can change something in your capacity planning. You can change something in your team, for example, hire somebody else, or help them to learn new skills, or something that you see that important to make the project more efficient, make the delivery more efficient from the business side, and also more enjoyable from the people side. So of course, you don't want only to like deliver a project and or a product. You can also make these people's life a little bit happier at work. So it's also a kind of job of the product manager to care about the team, and to not make the work like exhausting, and yeah, to make it more, a little bit more enjoyable. What else here? From the good practices for reporting, it's important to understand how frequently you would create reports, weekly, monthly, even quarterly, what reports it would be, and analyze reports and make decisions. So to not make reports only for reporting, to make reports for making decisions, for making changes, or to making something differently next time or for the next period. It's very important to make it wisely, not to make it only for a like paper work. And yeah, and the last one here is clarify over or underestimations. For example, if you see from your report, from your data, that you have some tasks overestimated and you spend less time actually on the task, or if you see that some tasks are underestimated and you actually spend more time to this task than was expected, that was estimated, you can easily understand what to do, and discuss this with your team, how we can improve our workflow, what we should do to change our like type of work or way of work on the project. So to make this estimation more accurate, to make it more clear and transparent for the client and for the team. So there are some tips maybe from my practice about reporting. And I also wanted to share with you guys estimation challenges. Sometimes we think that we estimate accurately and we understand how much time it would take to finish particular tasks, but we have people in the team, we have some requirements that can be unclear, we have some external factors, we have some lack of resources or communication issues that would influence our estimations and influence our final delivery date and timeline. So I would not read from this slide. You can do this easily without me, I guess. So just to remember that even you think that you estimated like accurate and perfectly, it doesn't mean that it is actually perfect estimation. It means that maybe you should think a little bit more and not to like rely on this estimation a lot, and to notice some changes during the way, track small steps on your product delivery, and consider those challenges that you have during this estimation, tracking, and reporting process. So yeah, one of my, I think, The biggest challenge for me, it's sometimes lack of historical data, because sometimes I don't have any information about the same projects that was estimated in the past. And yeah, it's sometimes annoying when you need to estimate something from scratch without understanding how much time it could potentially take to finish those tasks. And it's very helpful to have a experienced team who has background from similar projects, and you can easily rely on these estimations from the team. So and change and adjust them if you see that it's not going like this during the delivery stage. So yeah, consider these challenges and try to avoid biases and some external factors and human errors as much as possible. Yeah, so and at the end of our class, I want to share with you guys some tools that I use for time management. Some of them are advanced and some of them are simple, and so you can use today, like in an hour, you will be profi on them. For example, I can share with you guys two tools that usually is suitable for beginners. It's Trello and Google Sheets. Actually, it can be even just a simple table written, drawn on the whiteboard, for example, just simple sheet, simple table that you can use for time management and and task management. And there are also some advanced tools as like Jira and Asana and Monday.com. So you can meet those tools in big corporations or small companies with a lot of projects and with this intense product development. But for small projects, you can use easily Trello, and it's free, and you can use this easily, as I said. And I will show you guys some screenshots from these tools, so you can be familiar with how it looks like and yeah, what's the difference between them. For example, Trello. Let's talk about this. Trello is basically the tool from the company that also created this second advanced tool, Jira. So the company is Atlassian. So you can see here the simple Kanban board that help you to track tasks, and you can see different stages of the product delivery. And from ideas, research and design, estimating, sprint candidates, and you can add another column here. Yeah, so this is the basically task tracker, but you can add other applications here. They called it these applications power ups, and there are 30 time trackers for Trello you can find in this application. For example, I used Time Camp. This is the first one, and some another one. There's no this one in this screenshot, but yeah, they basically can add the time counter and like clock in your card of this task, and you can just easily submit hours or minutes spent on this particular task. This is how it works usually for the time tracking and task tracking. The same idea and the same time and task tracker is we can use in Jira. For example, here you can see Jira task tracking Kanban board. And also there's another view for the project. You can see Gantt chart on the right. And the idea is the same. So you have cards, you have cards with tasks, you have these columns with the stages of the project, and you can move one card from one stage to another, and inside this card you can see the description, you can see the people assigned to this task, their comments, some artifacts, files, whatever. So everything related to this task. And also you can add hours to this task. For example, for Jira, there are 5 time tracking tools. I use for my work the first one called Tempo. No, it's not the first one. It's on the left bottom corner, Tempo software, Tempo application for time tracking. So, and it helps you to allocate time during your week as a calendar view, or you can see, you can submit hours to every task in this time tracker. So you open this card and you just submit hours to this. After that, you can see different, the application creates different reports for you. You can open by user, you can open this report by the project or by the client. You can easily create any report you need for the analysis. And also there's a monday.com time tracking. So you can see that they're actually quite simple and quite similar to previous ones. So the same Kanban board, and you can have colorful timesheets for your time tracking and for your estimations and for reporting. So yes, this is basically it for this class. And let's wrap up and discuss just what we have discussed. We was talking about product management as a bunch of skills and what's the difference between product manager and project manager. And when we see the time tracking and time management in their workflow, in their scope of the tasks. And also we discussed that product manager is the person who is in the middle of the communications with the client and communications with the team. And in these different communications, you see that there are lots of things related to projects, and also there are estimation, tracking, and reporting involved in these communication tasks. And we discussed some time management techniques, and I shared with you guys my experience on this and my advices about estimation, tracking, and reporting. And you've seen 8 estimation techniques and common challenges that you should be aware of when you're working on the estimation and on the time management. And also there were some tools that I shared with you. And yeah, it's all I have for you today. I hope this was nice to know a little bit more about time tracking. And yeah, I was happy to share with you these practices. Let's connect on LinkedIn. And I'm here to answer your questions if you have one. I see the questions in the chat. What's the meaning of one-to-one meetings? One-to-one meeting is the meeting when there are 2 persons in the meeting. For example, I have a one-to-one meeting with my manager when we discuss like tasks, or we discuss my personal development, or we can have these meetings monthly or quarterly or weekly. So this is basically a meeting with two people discussing some work-related stuff. And as a product manager, I can have a meetings with every team member, one-to-ones, also monthly or quarterly, to discuss personal development or productivity goals, whatever. I hope I answered your question. And another question I see, what is a buffer time? Buffer time is the time that you set above the estimated time. For example, you see that, for example, your team have estimated the delivery date on the 1st of October, but you want to make this more accurate and just to be prepared for the unexpected events. And you set the deadline for this team, for the client, and for the project in 2 weeks after this estimated date. So you have these 2 weeks as a buffer time for the project. It's about deadlines, but you can also buffer some time in the project, for example, in days. For example, if team estimated the task for 3 days, you can add one more day just in case something went wrong, and you can just deliver in time, but have some time to unexpected events. I hope I answered this question too. Okay, I don't see the questions. Let me check. I see some attendance form. If you have any questions, please drop into the platform you use for the class, and I will see them and answer. Emma, if you have other questions somewhere, please let me know and I will answer them.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear
Okay.
you.
Can you hear me? Okay, so
Yeah.
I displayed, so I don't know if you can see what I displayed on the screen.
Uh, Excuse me, can you repeat 1 second? I will show
Okay.
this first screen. Okay. I see that I have another comment or question. Most of these applications are not free. It would be different for beginners to access them. Actually, there are 2 free applications here that I mentioned. There are Google Sheets that you can easily use for estimation. You can just write down your hours in the specific columns or line of the table. And Trello also has different free tools that you can use without any subscription. So it depends on the project, of course. It depends on the team, how many people on the team, but I use Trello for my projects a lot, and it's free. I use it for free, actually. So yeah, but of course, most of them are unfortunately paid. Yeah, you should pay for them. Okay, if you have any questions, I can also answer them.
Okay, so I think we just have one more. So let me display that on the screen.
Okay. Do you mean this question about one-to-one meetings?
Yes.
I see the question. Yeah, one-to-one meetings are held twice in a year, right? One-to-one meetings, actually, this is the format of meetings with 2 persons. So it doesn't mean that there are some specific schedule for these meetings. It depends on the team. It depends on how frequently you want to meet to each other and how you want to communicate with your teammates or with your manager. So it could be twice a year, of course. It could be once a month. It could be once a week. So it depends on the team. For example, for with my manager, I think I have not specific schedule for the meetings. So I have meetings one to one when I have some questions or we need to discuss something. So there's not specific schedule for this. Uh, Previously, I had one to ones weekly with my teammates. So I have some 30 minutes, 1 hour to discuss some personal struggles or plans or something that we need to discuss during the work. So it can be quite often, once a week, I think. Yeah, but it can be also once a year. So it depends on the team and how you organize them. Okay, thank you everyone for joining this class. If you have more questions or if you watch this video from recording, you can easily find me on LinkedIn and reach out and ask your questions or just discuss things related to this topic. I would be happy to help in any way.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for today's class. Okay, I believe that's all as regards the question. And then please, I also shared our LinkedIn handle. So please just click on the link and send a connection request if you have more questions as regards to today's class, or if you have other questions as regards product management. Do well to send a connection request and you can reach out to her or LinkedIn. I believe I sent that on the comment section and also it's being displayed on the screen. So please do well to connect with her. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't get the pronunciation wrong.
Jania. Yes.
Thank you so much for
Everybody call me Eva, so you can call me Eva as well. So I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Eva. So yeah, it's easier that way.
all right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for today's class, Eva. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate. All right. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you guys today by 8 p.m. West African time. Thank you so much, everyone, and bye.
Goodbye. Good luck.